And welcome back to 3 First News. My name is Jeff Blindfor. We have a special guest with us in the studio this morning, Mr. Richard Delson. He is the Secretary of Revenue for the state of Louisiana. Thanks for being here.
Thanks
for having me. Make the long reach across here.
Yeah, no worries.
It's been a while since I've seen you.
Yeah, no, we should do this more often.
All right. Yeah, you were running for governor the last time we talked.
Yeah, back in the day.
Now you heading up the Revenue Department. You got a big tax plan that you're helping the governor with. So sell us a little bit.
Sure. So the taxes have been one of those things that even when I was back in the legislature and when I was running for governor, this was a key issue that we felt was holding Louisiana back.
Right.
We look at states around us like Texas, Florida, Tennessee. All these states are really booming. They're attracting population. And Louisiana, we're losing. I think we lost 80,000 people or so in the last 2 years. So it's been a significant decline. So we're looking at how do you fix that problem. I mean, you need big solutions to fix these big problems. And so I think tax reform is a big piece of that. I think that trying to make us at Louisiana have a low, simple, and fair tax code, which we've never really had. Having that is the best way to bring businesses here, bring people here, keep the best and brightest kids here, give them opportunity. And so that's what we've been focused on, is how do we bring that success here that we've seen in all these other states.
So give us some of the high points. One is that you've got a low flat tax, right?
That's right. So we're going to lower the income tax rate. We're going to give everyone in the state an income tax cut, about $1.2 billion across the board. And we're going to do a whole bunch of other things too that are really good. So for seniors, we're going to basically double their standard deduction from even the base standard deduction. So from $12,500, which is what our proposed standard deduction is, we're going to go to $25,000 for so basically every senior for their first $25,000 is not going to owe anything. And we're going to try and make sure that prescription drugs are no longer taxed. I mean, that's a big thing. Louisiana is one of the only states where there's actually a local tax on prescription drugs. It doesn't make a lot of sense, so we'd like to get rid of that. And we also would like to give the teachers a permanent pay raise. That was one of the things that's been kind of tossed around the legislature for the last couple of years, where they do this one-time payment instead of a permanent raise. And so as part of this plan, we're looking to pay off about $2 billion of debt on the teachers' retirement system and use that savings, about $1.2 billion in interest, to give those teachers a permanent pay raise.
So the old saying, rob Peter to pay Paul, you're kind of moving things around in here, move stuff from here to there, and then you're able to accomplish things here, but some things over here have to take a little cut, right?
Absolutely. So one of the things we're looking at is really getting away from this system that's really riddled with special interest exemptions and credits and incentives, and trying to just make the rates low and flat for everybody. The sales tax code, for example, has, I think, 225 sales tax exemptions. It makes it very difficult to comply with, and it's really just kind of picking winners or losers. So we'd like to wipe out a lot of those, use that money to help buy down that personal income tax rate. And that actually also maybe tax some online things. So, you used to go to Blockbuster, you would pay tax on that.
Right.
Well, now if you go and download a movie from Amazon, you don't pay the same tax. So part of the way we pay for the tax cut is that we use some of that money now, update the definition to include some of those digital online things that currently are not taxed.
Talking about the sales tax, the 0.45 that's supposed to roll off, that seems to be a huge sticking point, at least for some people up in this area, some of the members of our Northwest Louisiana delegation. They say that's a non-starter. What would you say to them?
We've had a lot of conversation with the legislature to try and get their buy-in on this. And I think really that, giving everybody a, $1.2 billion income tax cut, I think that's I think that is a big selling point of this plan, especially the seniors and the extra income tax cut they get too. And I think that's a better policy to have that just maintain the current sales tax rate. Our state sales tax rate is actually lower than Texas or most of our neighbors. We have one of the lowest in the country. It's really not that high, but our income tax is one of those things when you're comparing us to Texas, it's really, we stand out. And so, I would rather give people the ability to, pay a tax versus in a choice on a sales tax, a consumption tax, versus on their labor and on their success, which is really what an income tax is.
And so this new rate, income tax rate you're talking about is what, flat 3%?
3%, that's right.
And then businesses, I think 3.5%?
Yeah, so the corporate rate, we're going to go from 7.5%, which is the highest in the South, even higher than New York State. We'd like to lower that to about 3.5%, which is a significant reduction. And we do that by phasing out some of the incentives and credits that we currently offer. And in the long run, I think that's one of the biggest things we can do to grow Louisiana is we make this tax code so that we can compete with these other states. And I think especially North Louisiana would be a really net winner in this because when you look and you say, well, what's the difference between North Louisiana and East Texas that's been booming and seeing a lot of development? Really, I think the tax code is one of the major things holding us back.
All right, that has been Richard Nelson, the Secretary of Revenue. Was there a Secretary of Revenue before you?
There was.
There was.
Yeah,
We never heard of him.
Yeah.
This is the smartest guy that any of us are ever going to know. Richard Nelson, the Secretary of Revenue. Thanks for being here. We got more 3 First News coming up.